Got that up. All right, that's everybody up. Get in the right spot. And next is grabbing chat. All right, I think everybody is live. Good morning. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. I'll go this way. Let's make sure I am pulling from that source. There we go. All right. Good morning. Working on this Blender sculpt. So Blender's something I want to kind of be better at. I've been working on it for a while, so I thought I would jump into the sculpting area. So I've been working on this bust for the last week or so. And as for myself, I'm Peter SAKIEVICH, art professor, artist, and excited to always be working on something new. Lots of other creative projects underway, but every morning I like to get up bright and early. You know, pretty much first thing after taking the dog out for his morning constitutional, and then come back in and hit making something. So that's what we got going on here today. This is a horned lizard. So it's a lizard from the southwest, mostly the southwest United States. It might go into Mexico too. But interesting little fellows. So that's my reference up here. And they have that unique superpower of squirting blood out of their eyes. So, you know, llamas might spit, but these guys squirt blood at you. Which seems to be a little bit rude to me, but, you know, they didn't check with me when they were shopping for superpowers. So anyway, welcome. Flip-flops, I'm getting a new pair of sandals today to replace the old ones. They've been falling apart gradually. So, alright, I want to start using spacebar to pick my brushes. So I don't have to come down here all the time. So good morning. Alright. So we're going to hit the phase where we can start detailing this fellow. Yesterday I was moving these scales into a better spot, which this one still feels like it should be larger and would go. So maybe I'll do that first. Let's see, I think that's number 3. Number 3. So get him into that spot. Mm-hmm. So yeah, welcome to my little morning study session. That feels better. Let's back to snake hook. Good morning. Let's see. Polish, so good. All right, back to the head. Good morning. I feel like it's not showing everything on here. Maybe it is. Good morning. So how are we doing this morning? What do we got in here? Good morning. Let's see where my reference go. There you are. Yeah, a couple of things I like to do with my sculpts here, well, any program I use really, whether it's Photoshop or Affinity or Clip Studio or whatever, I like to set the front key on my stylus to be the brush changing side. So you can see if I drag it, the circle will get bigger and smaller. And kind of a default thing I like to use in all my programs. And then the back one depends on the program. So if it's, this one I'm using it for moving around like that. And then using shift and control, give it different functionality. Let's see. Oh, it's evening in India, huh? Yeah, it's the other side of the planet, right? So I'm in Virginia in the United States, in Richmond. So it's about 2 hours south drive from Washington, D.C. So let's put the shape on the next one. So yes, I end up adjusting the size on all of these so that they fit properly. So they're actually matching my reference. So yeah, we've had some rough weather though. The Canadians sent us their smoke, which we were not very excited about. So we had there was a big, I guess, forest fire in Ontario, and it all drifted south, which no good. Yeah, I've been messing around Blender for a long time, but I've been putting in a bunch of time this summer while I'm on break to get better at it. I was focusing a lot in June on material nodes, which I didn't live stream because that's really, really boring. And art streams are boring enough, but material nodes, man, that'll yeah, I'm just connecting stuff up together. So I was relying on plugins a lot for some certain things, and I kind of decided I needed to move past that, especially after seeing one of them like go full like AI Pro. And I want to figure out kind of how to do a lot of the things that we do in his plugins that I didn't know how they worked, and so I been kind of slowly going through those things to get that sorted. And I'm used to using ZBrush, so I'm pretty familiar with sculpting. I just trying to figure out how to use it properly here. And so let's do the next one. Well, I've been doing this live I started this last week, Monday, and then I've been only working on it for about an hour and a half in the morning. And I think I skipped Saturday, so I was on yesterday, but not on Saturday. So, but I'm not like in a hurry to get this done. It's mostly me just like learning to get comfortable with the tools. So I've got some good reference for this. This is a real animal. They're not that big. If you're not familiar with them, that's what they look like, full body. These are some different breeds. This one's a little different breed than this one over here. This is the horned lizard. And there's different species of them. or subspecies, I guess, down in the Southwest United States. I don't think I've ever actually seen one in the wild personally. I lived in Arizona a long time ago, but I think these guys live out more in the high desert. But yeah, they do a unique kind of thing. I don't know if you've heard before, but they squirt blood out of their eyes, um, which is a pretty neat little trick, I guess. You know, so they get real upset. They'll do that where they look you in the eye and squirt blood in your face. They're really small, so it's not like it's they're like their body's probably like that big, and then you add on the tail, but so they're not they're not gigantic or anything, but they are lizard out there. There is a dangerous lizard. I think it's the only poisonous lizard, which is the Gila monster. Which, if you're not familiar with that, spelled with a G. I'll bring up an image. They look like this. And they live in that same area in the Southwest United States, but they are poisonous. They're not as bad as like a rattlesnake or, I guess you're in India, a cobra. It's funny, I had students from India at my last university at Ringling College of Art and Design, and I asked them, have they ever seen a cobra? Because they're from India. And they said no, they hadn't. And then they went home for the Christmas break, and they both saw cobras while they were there, which I thought was really funny. Sometimes you don't see a thing, I guess, unless you're looking for it. But yeah, so I thought that was kind of funny. They'd never seen them before. Like, oh, at least probably not in the wild. Maybe they saw them in the zoo or something or whatever. But yeah, these guys aren't particularly threatening or dangerous. But yeah, they do get upset. You know, I don't know. Yeah, they're India's a pretty big country, so I'm not sure where they're going to be more prevalent. I've never been there, but I'm sure they're more common in some areas than in others. People probably don't tolerate them in cities very much. But yeah, it's like I've never seen a no. I think I've seen a rattlesnake in person. Seen water moccasins for sure. Those live down in the South United States, and especially when I lived in New Orleans, so you'd see them along the canals, and they're pretty toxic. They're very aggressive, but the ones I saw, as you walked along the canal, they would kind of flip over and roll into the water. They're really thick. They're not, they are large snakes, but they're not nearly as long as like a cobra is or anything like that. But they are like really thick. Like their bodies are really thick. Um, yeah, so these are pretty cool lizards if you're not familiar with them. Um, I'd love to see one in the wild, but I guess I'd have to go out to Arizona in the summertime. Probably not out a lot in the winter. That one. Yeah, I'm trying to lean into kind of alt programs, so things like Blender, things like Affinity, which kind of replaces, let's see, replaces what's it called, Photoshop, Illustrator, and InDesign all in one program. I do wish you could still just buy it. I bought version 2 and used it a little bit, and then they upgraded to version 3 last fall after getting acquired by Canva. And so you can't buy it anymore. But it is free. What they're looking for is for you to they're looking for you to buy a Canva subscription and use AI. And I'm just like, I don't want that. So I guess I'll just use it for free. Let's see, who are we at? What are we at here? Oh, I guess I can put more detail on those guys later. Rather than trying to find the geometry. Let's see, this one is next. So, yeah, but animals are cool. Affinity is great. Like it works really, really well. In fact, the Canva AI thing that they have is they have. I'll just open it up here rather than just talking about it. First off, it uses a lot less hard drive space. So if you look it up, I think it was. Let's see. Settings. I want to go to. Where's that programs on here? Installed programs, maybe? Yeah, here it is. So if you look at the installed apps here, so I get Photoshop and I get Adobe and a number of other things for free through my university. So if you look here, Adobe Photoshop, 5.27 gigs. I don't have InDesign on here anymore or Illustrator, but they're similarly large. Affinity takes up 1.46 gigabytes on your hard drive, and it's basically all three of them in one. And what they do in here? Oh, there's an update. Let's see what that is about later. But basically, they have different tool sets that you work with. So it used to be you could actually, if you bought all three programs, you could actually swap between tool sets within. Let's see, there we go. While you were working in the program. Let's see, where's the edge here? I'm trying to move this over so you can see the layout on my screen. But it basically works the same. I think they swapped the control and the alt keys, but they have these different layouts up here on the top left. So pixel, layout, and vector, and that's Photoshop, InDesign, and Illustrator. And basically, you swap between them to bring up different tool sets. You can actually make your own. When you get this, it does have Canva AI on there. So, but these are different ones you can kind of set up in here that it comes with by default. You can set up your own tool sets and your own studios in here, but you just turn off this and it's gone. Um, but it works really well. It's free. And if you're on your iPad, they do have all the apps on the iPad for free. There's still version 2. I did see in a post that version 3 is coming to the iPad soon. But the iPad app for version 2 worked the exact same, had all the same functionality as the desktop. I don't know how much is missing in here from Photoshop. As far as the stuff that I use, it's all here. I think the only thing I saw was maybe in vectors. It doesn't do blend shapes where you can merge two different objects and have them kind of blend between them. So I don't think it does that yet. But that's like the only thing that I noticed that was missing. Otherwise, it works great. It's a lot lighter. And you've got your tool sets over here, which are basically the same. There is an introductory series on kind of the basics of it on their YouTube channel. So I like it. The only thing, of course, you don't get is you don't get the Creative Cloud. You don't get the Creative Cloud fonts. So you have to manage your own fonts. I'm using a program called, what's it called? FontBase. Right here. And so when I pull this up, it activates the fonts I want to use, and they're all hosted on my computer. There is like a paid version of this, and you can access other people's libraries through it, depending on how you have it set up. I'm just using the free version, and then these are either fonts I've acquired, I purchased, or found that were licensed for free. Of course, it also links into the Google Fonts library. So it'll automatically download any of them that you activate on here. So if you go to like Google Fonts over here, you have access to all of the fonts that Google has put out that are license free. So you don't have to pay for them. And then you just activate them, like we're to activate that when it turns green, and now it's on my computer and it will show up inside, Affinity or what other applications you want to use. Or Blender. I haven't learned how to use text in Blender. And then on the iPad, I actually use Infinite Painter, and I like it more than Procreate. It does things that Procreate does not do. But you can kind of customize the layout. You can pull out the color picker and leave it out. So you don't have to click through a bunch of menus to use the perspective grids. The circle has a circle and a square tool, and this tool, and the circle tool will snap to the perspective, so it'll draw the correct ellipse in perspective. It's an app I don't understand why it doesn't get more attention. It has like a comic panel drawing in there. You can do where am I at here? Orange 7. It's over right here. You can do what's it called? You can like that thing where you draw a curve in Procreate, you hold it and it will snap, or you draw an ellipse and it will snap. It does that too, except in Procreate you have to hit a button to edit it. In that app you tap the stroke and you can edit it. You can also swap between the strokes and brushes. So if you've done a brush stroke and you're like, I don't like it, you can switch to a different brush and it'll swap it out. And the other thing I like about Infinite Painter is the finger shortcuts. So when you swipe down or up, it changes the brush size with the 3-finger swipe, and left and right will change the opacity. Which once you get used to that, you never want to go back to the sliders in Procreate ever again. The other thing I really like Procreate for now is the what's it called? The 3D painting that you can do in there, where you can import a model. I've only done that a couple of times, so it's not that kind of important to me. Yeah, we're done. I actually do that. But so yeah, if you haven't tried Infinite Painter, it's not very expensive. It is free to download, it's free to try. It does some other really unique things too. If I was over on my had my iPad out, I might show it in more depth. It's also on Android. I keep holding on the space bar when I do that. So, yeah, if you haven't tried Infinite Painter, I would definitely give it a go. It is its own brush engine, so you can't import brushes, but it also has like a lot of unique brushes. Like it has a select fill brush that you can put textures into. So there's a similar brush in Clip Studio where you draw a shape and it'll fill the shape. But in Clip Studio, it only draws a flat shape. So it just does like a flat color, whatever color you have selected or opacity, it just draws that. But in Infinite Painter, you can actually add a texture to that. So if you want to do like, what do you call it? If you want to do like a screen tone, like the Japanese dot matrix screen tone stuff, like you can make a texture for that, and you can fill that up with that, which is really nice. So it's not like a separate brush. Like there is actually a screen tone brush in there, but I don't like it that much. I prefer the one that I've made, which I actually sell on my illustration site. Rainland Studios. I have a little brush thing in the ink set. There's these screen tones. I should make some more and just do that as like a separate. What do we got there? I want you. So yeah, if you haven't tried out Infinite Painter, I would definitely give it a go. A lot of people use Procreate because they've got really good marketing. Um, Everybody likes Australians, but if you haven't tried Infinite Painter, like it just works really well. Yeah, it's yeah. So, but again, you can make your own custom brush sets and all that stuff. So, yeah, if you haven't, yeah. So yeah, I haven't tried that. Definitely recommend it. It's really nice. I think he added in like some kind of text stuff recently, which I haven't tried. I haven't been doing that much digital stuff, but I want to color my comic that I've been working on in it. But yeah, well, have a good one. Thank you for coming in. Do let me know if there's any questions. And yeah, definitely check out that stuff. Let me know how it goes because um, they're all really good. There's a lot of good stuff out there. In spite of all the insanity going on in the world, there's a lot of great stuff happening too. And I'm definitely kind of paying a lot of attention to the AI nonsense. I'd rather not pay any attention to it, but that's the times that we live in, and the thing that's getting pushed on us. So I have to pay attention to it. But Yeah. Well, that's what I have to share. Yeah. I just wish, they keep telling you, I keep hearing, I'm going to get left behind, and I wish they would leave me behind. Leave me alone. Like, go away. Stop it. Leave me alone. That's what I say. Um, let's see. Oh, we got our first bot over on Twitch. I love chasing these guys off. Yeah. As usual, if you're in, let me know if there's any questions or comments. I'm just working on my little morning study here. And better. Alright, that's good. Let's see. Scoot this over. Alright, that feels better. There we go. Scrub a little bit. Alright, that kind of moves up into there. Crease all along. Crease. Let's see. All right. Where'd that brush go? Oh, that's right. There we go. Where'd all the brushes go? Good morning. Welcome to my morning study. Let's see. Double check. Push that back up. Let's see. Here. Yeah, so do let me know if there's any questions. I'm just working on my morning study, so I get up bright and early every day, pretty much, and get the dog out for his WALK, and then get cleaned up and come in here and get to work. And much better. How are we doing for time? Just under an hour. All right, so we got 30-ish minutes. It's interesting kind of putting things on a time deadline like this, like a morning study project. Good morning. Feels better. I wish I spoke French. I have no idea what any of that means, sadly. Ne parlez-vous français? I have no idea what that's about. Roblox t-shirt? I have no idea what any of that means. Sorry. Sadly, I speak English, pretty good with Russian, Lithuanian, and some bad Cantonese. But ne parlez-vous français? Sadly. To my embarrassment. I'm sure it's worth learning. But welcome to my morning study. I'm working on sculpting in Blender, so I'm not that familiar with it. I've done sculpting in other applications like ZBrush, Nomad Sculpt, the digital sculpting stuff. But Blender, there's a lot of stuff going on in Blender, so sometimes it can be a bit of a challenge. These all need to get bigger. Neck, we'll deal with that later. Let's see. Whip out the dino topo here. Pull this sharp. Yeah, I don't know anything about. I know Roblox exists, but I don't know anything about it. I've never had any interaction with it at all. It is interesting, if you're making a request for one, like people come here with random requests that I do not. Nothing to do with what I do. I need to use a mask on here to clean that up underneath there. But, oh, wrong button. Button in my button in my head to get the render shortcut. That's what I would like to know. Done it a few times. I'm not sure. Alright. Let's see. Go. Yes. Oh. I get for the standing desk situation, right? Stretch out that back. Alright, let's get these marked off. There's one here. Ish. There. Something like that. Where those go. There. Let's see. Alright, 15 more minutes. So, do let me know if there's any questions out there if you're watching still. And let me know. Let's see. Yeah, I should probably keep it down to a certain size. Good morning. All right. Making some good progress there. Working on some refining these down here, these guys over here, and then some detailing. We talked about some alternative apps that are easy to use, like Affinity, which I definitely recommend. Alright, that's better. So I think I need to find some good better reference for this. I mean, I can kind of see it, but it's a little bit lost on me. And this stuff's all really small down here, so I don't know how much we're going to put in there, because I should work probably at this scale. But, you know, things take time. I need to replace the eyeball too. That needs to go up a little bit higher. It's fine. All right, I think it's been an hour and a half. Yep. Well, just under. But excited about all the things I get to do today, so this is a good way to start today. Good morning. Just about done with my little morning study session here. Think about what's next. I think I want to get some more reference for the shield area. I can have a kind of an okay view, but or maybe I should drop it into Photoshop or Affinity or something like that and tweak it so I can kind of see the pattern a little bit more easily. What do we think here? How's it look under the light? Feeling pretty good. Let's see. Yeah, so I think, that's something I'm going to work on, cleaning up these horns and their connection to the hood next time. Need to fix these ones up so they're larger, so I'll probably do that. So one of my productivity tricks is I like to kind of think about what I'm going to do when I come back to something. And this is one of the things that I'll do is I like to kind of stop working on something either at a certain time or when I know kind of what I'm going to do next and I'm kind of getting to the end of things. So it's always good to kind of like think about what's going to happen when you come back, so that way you have something specific to do rather than trying to pay a lot of attention, use a lot of brain energy for trying to figure out what you're going to do next. So I think that would probably be the next thing to do, would be enlarging, fixing these horns up, making sure these are connecting properly, getting some reference for the scales here especially. Need the eyeball in there. So I think those would be a really good thing to do next time. That'll bring us a lot closer to being nearly done, and then it's a matter of just kind of detailing. I think after that, take a look at the neck. There's some scales that kind of run along here. I need to do on here as well. So I don't want to capture like the tiniest detail from it, but I'm just going to get the general thing in there. The scales are important. So that's what we'll do next time when I come back, and I appreciate everybody that came in, and we'll talk to you all later.